I'm curious how many of y'all 14 enthusiasts have picked up on what's playing right now. But what up, Caracal? What up, Nuisance? What up, Yami? What up, Komi? What up, Liana? Thank you all for the support and all that. Yeah, just to answer based on what Liana said earlier, I don't think I should need too much, at least for today. For today, I don't think I should need too much in terms of eye-level jockeying. Maybe, but we will see. Essentially, it boils down to I went and looked because I'm starting 7.3. I went and looked. I was like, let me see. I'm not going to look at any details, anything like that. Let me just go to the post MSQ in the wiki, scroll down. Okay, first duty I see, click. What is the eye level requirement? 720. I'm good. I'm at 722, I think. So I know I can do that. And then if I get any item drops, hopefully that'll help. And it's not like I'm presuming I'm going to do a whole shit ton. Now, theoretically, I may get gated off on story content, at which point I can try and see if I can hop over to either continue with the Vanadiel shit or with the Arcadian. Either way. And if those are locked off, I can always just be like, well, maybe I go try and get another, like, go just do farming or whatever. I don't fucking know, man. I will say I did try and do Chloe's shit to see if I can get 500. I think it's mathematics tomestones, because I know the ones that are limited you can get 50, and the ones that are not limited that you can get more of, you can get 500. I did my journal, and of course, Chloe set me up perfectly to where I could have gotten 3 lines and then fucked off for the last 2 dots, so I got 1. As is to be expected. So, yeah, because I was going to see, like, maybe I can get some of those tomestones and get an item that'll just eke me up, but whatever, we're fine, we're good. It took me a moment to figure out the song cover, but boy, the Final Fantasy Fan Fest was... Oh, shit, you got to be at Fan Fest? How was it? Casual reminder, that city pop ass song, for those of you who did not pay attention and were just kind of vibing, that city pop song that was just playing, that's this. Hold on. That's not this. This is an ad, to be clear. This is an ad, but
this is how I move.
This is another ad.
Start your comeback today.
Because I had to turn off my ad blocker for a thing I was doing, but... It was this. They do be making music. We'll play a little bit more music before continuing on, so... Speaking of city pop... Komi, I didn't realize you were at FanFest. I'd have tried to say hello. Oh shit, you both there. Arcadian Dungeon probably, yeah, that's what I was figuring. Like, if I need to, obviously the hope is that I can just do content of some variety without having to sit and grind today. And then between now, like, I don't have much else to do tonight. And then tomorrow I was considering taking the day off, like, because of the way my schedule works, I might be able to take tomorrow off. And so if I do, tomorrow I can just be like, well, eye level grind, get my shit up. So, a friend of mine, one of the Time Adrift players, okay, did the Howling Blade design that Jason Charles Miller had on the back of his coat during the primals. Oh, that fucking rules. Is that, the narrator, not narrate, not for Time Adrift, obviously. I'm the one who does like the fish, the fucking, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I mean. Liana, help me. I don't know words or people right now. Help me. This is a tick too bright because I forgot. There we go. There we go. Cool. I don't think that's who I was thinking. Who did I mean? Give me a second, I can tell you. I think the thing I feel I most missed out on regarding FanFest is, man, I wish I could have been there for the fucking disco floor. I should have assumed that it was the artist. What I meant, Liana, was Aldiano. That's who I was thinking in my head. I went and looked it up. I was like, let me go double check. Hey, before I start playing, let's discuss a thing, right? Sometimes discourse is valid, and sometimes sometimes touch grass. And unfortunately, this is not a thing where I can give it a simple, instant checkbox. There does need to be some discernment. What am I talking about? It is the year of our Lord 2026. Why am I reading, when you really get down to it, Nathan Drake is actually a serial killer discourse? We ain't even had an Uncharted game in damn near a fucking decade. Why are we... Why? Dog, it's a video game. It's a video game. It is a video game. And I don't have anything else I can say about it other than, and this is so remarkably true, it's a video game. Also,
working across teams is tough,
a discourse that I kind of want to dig into, but not that I want to give any of the people who are on the worst side of it breath, but so there's been a whole recent thing with mixtape. And I've seen takes from all directions, but it kind of all firestormed because IGN gave a new game that just came out, an indie game by Annapurna. They were not the developers, but they were the production, called Mixtape, which is really more of a cinematic experience than anything else. It's got very little in the way of gameplay. They gave it a 10 out of 10. And of course, the worst people have decided to champion this as more proof of the woke mind virus that has completely taken over and intercepted all of gaming discourse. Obviously, fuck these people. Obviously, anyone who's decided to hijack this as a Trojan horse for bigotry is the worst, and I don't need to give them breath or space. But there are a lot of people who I think come at it from a well-meaning place. They're like, if you look at the experience, it is very white, it is very specific to a person, and therefore, it is not a 10 out of 10. And it's like, here, guys, I think here's where we fundamentally need to recalibrate scores in our mind. What up, Wizard Cells? And I don't mean recalibrate them as in like the scale or anything like that. That's a completely separate discussion. What I mean is, I think when you're talking about it from a game review aspect, see, that is why game reviews, you can use a numeric score for a quick off the cuff of your point, and a written or verbal or descriptive review of some variety that explains how we got here. That each piece, this piece is infinitely more important than this piece. This piece is the quick blip that relates to this piece. But even further, my actual issue is I don't think people have a genuinely correct concept of what the number means. And I know that sounds stupid at its core, because you're like, well, a 10 means it's perfect, and a 9 means it's... No. I don't mean that. But even that is actually wrong. I will give a game a 10 out of 10 before I call a game perfect. And you may think that statement is in conflict, but it isn't. Because I hesitate. There are, in the collective history of gaming, from the beginning of time to now, if I said there were a handful of truly perfect gaming experiences, I might be exaggerating. Perfect to me is a damn near unattainable state. It is the idea of a game that does not suffer from major issues, never has pacing problems, properly scales, has all the accessibility and things you need, has a very engaging story, a great visual identity, perfect, excellent music, good control, mass appeal. There's so many things that go into what I could call perfect, because there are games, but the flip side, there are 10 out of 10s that I could poke holes in, because I'm poking holes in the minor. The 10 out of 10 relates to the experience. And more specifically, when I'm rating the game, I say, on a 10 out of 10, does it perfectly execute what it wanted to do? Does this game perfectly execute what it wanted to be? Is it in its truest form, its own truest form? That is the actual question. So, great example, because I've been replaying it recently. I'm actually at the very end. I'm just doing a little bit of archetype grinding before I take on the final boss. I've been going back and replaying Metaphor ReFantasio. Beautiful game. Gorgeous. Incredible. Not a perfect game. Definitely a game I would give a 10 out of 10. Not a perfect game. It's got some issues in terms of length. The day system is probably, like, I understand it's necessary, but you could rebuild it without the day system. The day system gives a lot of people anxiety. There's not necessarily perfect balance in what things can be done on what times of day and how certain things conflate with other things. If you're being properly efficient about your days, you'll probably get to the end of the game and literally just have to waste a couple days because there's no fucking point. There's nothing you can do that's going to carry over to New Game Plus. So on and so forth. Not a perfect game. It is a 10 out of 10 game. Why? Visual art style, like whether or not the graphics are the most advanced, visual art style, beautiful and gorgeous. Music, wonderful, excellent, really hard-hitting stuff that fits the theme of the world. The themes of the game, superb. The actual mechanics, one of the best implementations of the press turn system Atlas has ever had. Just, it is 10 out of 10 because what it wants to be, it does perfectly. That doesn't mean it's a perfect game. What it wants to be, a game that has this day system, a game that has Atlas's social links, a game that has all this, it nails all of those things. Those things are not necessarily perfect, but it nails all of those. Why do I say all that? Mixtape is not trying to be, honestly, not that I'm disagreeing with what you're saying about reviews. Taking this discourse as face value, feel like trying to have a nuanced discussion, which is why I specifically said I'm not giving the people who are just attacking it breath. I am having a separate conversation over here with adults because all of y'all are adults. I know my community is adults. I know my community, we can have like a legitimate conversation about things where we can go back and forth and engage. I do feel it's okay to be like, hey, Mixtape is not a 10 out of 10 for me because the fact that it represents a very specific slice of life story that I personally can't connect with. This is a very white, middle-class, suburban story, and that does not appeal to me because that wasn't my story. And so because there's not a lot of interactivity, it's more like I'm watching a movie. That's a valid take to have. Not you saying the game is not that. You're saying the game is not that for me, which is ultimately my point. Would you have a game like Metaphor, I think, is an objective 10 out of 10. Because, again, it nails the things it wants to do, and it is what it wants to be. And basically, anybody who loves RPGs is going to love Metaphor. The Venn diagram of people who truly love RPGs and people who cannot stand Metaphor, the layover is exceedingly thin. Almost everyone who loves RPGs is going to love Metaphor. Not everyone, but close enough. I'm calling that a 10 out of 10. But the more specific you make a game, the more you make a game about the experience and the story and less about the game, the more subjective the score gets and the more wildly it's going to vary. And this is the point I was ultimately trying to get to. The qualifier for liking Metaphor is mainly, do you like RPGs? Like, even if the fantasy story that has modern day parallels about racism and the destructive power of capitalism and classism and all that, even if this story is not something you're trying to go for your escapism, at the end of the day, you can still enjoy the mechanics of the RPG. Mixtape doesn't have fucking mechanics you can lean on, right? It doesn't have a game to lean on. It is just rated on the story. So for someone who that story hits for, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. And the problem is, that's one where that is in the very, very, very exceedingly rare category of you can't really give it an objective score. Because it is a subjective experience. It's an experience that's rooted on, did you connect with it or didn't you? If you did, it's going to hit. If you didn't, it won't. And that's the end of it. To go on the extreme other end of the spectrum, if you look at something like the original Mario Bros., like, that's not a game you rate on the story of it. Like, it doesn't matter whether or not Mario's adventure through the Mushroom Kingdom and the perils he faces as a character and the triumph at the end of the hero's journey, all of that shit is irrelevant. It is, does it look good to you? And do you like jumping on Goombas? Like, so that has to be rated on its mechanics, on the operating portions of it. This is a thing where, and so you can give a much more objective score because the subjective parts are kind of weeded out, right? The subjective parts of how do you feel about the world building? How do you feel about the characters, the characterization, the story? That's kind of a non-issue. With Mixtape, it's all the subjective shit. It's all the story, the all of that. So that's why, like, ultimately my nuanced conversation is, I think there needs to be a recalibration with people of what scores actually represent, and the understanding that not at, like, the more focused an experience a game is, the less it's about the game and the mechanics, and the more it's about the story and the message and all of that. The more you're removing gaming elements, the more subjective that's going to be. Road 96 for me was probably a 9 out of 10 experience. There was very little gameplay there. There was some meter matching. Like, there was me, like, figuring out how to manage my energy levels and money. There's very little gameplay. So either the story of working to make a better world and the sacrifices we make and all that hits you, or it doesn't. That one's going to give you a very subjective sort of score. Flip side, when I play Gauntlet Dark Legacy, I'm going to give you an objective score. And my objective score is, for me personally, 11 out of 10. Objectively, 6.5 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. We'll see how it feels control-wise when I get back into it. It's a dungeon crawler with very little in the way of actual mechanics, but it's fun. It's a good time. If it was available on modern day, like if you could just grab the Switch and buy it for $10 off the eShop, fucking amazing value. Especially if you could play online with friends. Amazing value, gives you a couple of hours of your time. You're in, you're out, you enjoy, you have a great day. The story is ancillary. That was my whole point. And with that, how about we hop into Eorzea, y'all? I think we're technically still in Eorzea, right? We're in Eorzea? Alright. Got myself ready. Got myself booted up here. Josh under the control of I'm in the pocket. That's the other thing about this discourse I need to address. Because, yeah, I'm totally in the pocket of Big Gauntlet. Dog, the number of people who are like, all these paid shield journalists. Yes, video game companies do pay people to make sponsored content for their games. I was paid to make videos for Sunderfolk. I'm telling you right now, first of all, for game reviews, they do not pay for scores. That's just, it's no reviewer worth their salt is getting paid for that. And no company wants to do it because the moment, I need you to understand, if game companies actually paid for review scores, you don't think someone would come out with proof? You don't think one whistleblower who was inside the industry would come around with some sort of, thank you for the follow, Tez. I appreciate it. You don't think one fucking whistleblower would come out and be like, hey, Ubisoft offered me $1,500 to ensure that the latest Assassin's Creed gets a 9? Not one? We don't have one internal proof person? But, okay, cool. Let's pretend we live in that world. I don't know how to tell you. Gaming journalists are all broke. They wish they had the avenue of being corrupt. Several of them do. I need you to understand that. There are several gaming journalists who would 1000% take every bribe under the wood. Like every bribe available. You know why? Rent. That's not the case. They're all fucking broke, dog. All of them. Every last one. No, you're no longer in Eorzea. Eorzea is the alliance of city-states that includes Ul'dah, Lim-Solamenza, Grandania, and Ishgard, generally encompassing the continents of Aldenard and Vilbrand. Liana, I want to preface by saying that I do love you. You are a dear friend of mine, and I hope to know you and have you in my life for the foreseeable future. That might have been the nerdiest thing I've ever read in my life. I understand. I would like to acknowledge I'm both a nerd who enjoys things like I loved Mortal Kombat 2 because I loved the lore of Mortal Kombat. There's a very minor thing in the movie that pisses me off about it because I love the lore. Very nerdy thing. So it takes one to know one. Okay? It's said with love. That nerdy thing, everybody, fingers in your ears if you don't want to hear a spoiler for the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. And mind you, it is the most minor thing in the world. But essentially, a very well-known Mortal Kombat character makes an appearance in the movie. And while they referenced him by his technically correct name, they never referenced him as the name he's been known as since fucking Mortal Kombat 3. Which is Noob Saibot. And I get it, Noob Saibot's a shitty name. Because it's just Ed Boon and John Tobias took their last names and inverted them, so Boon, Noob, Tobias, Saibot. Also, Noob has connotations, but he's referred to by like his in-canon lore name. Correctly. But why y'all should just call him Noob Saibot. At least once. At least once. I would have been, if you just did it once, cool, fine. Okay, fine, cool. It pissed me off they did. It's a very minor thing, but I did love it. I think it was great. I think Mortal Kombat 2 is... I get it, Nuisance, I get it. It would be very... That's why I'm like, I get it, but... I will say, I think Mortal Kombat 2... objectively the best Mortal Kombat movie, and a lot of people are gonna get pissed at me about that, but like as a Mortal Kombat movie, as someone who truly loves the originals, I think Mortal Kombat 2 is objectively the best Mortal Kombat movie. Like it's really fucking good. Really fucking good. And if you enjoy Mortal Kombat, you'll like it. I think they hit just the right tone on everything. Over MK1, as in over the 96, again, Shan. I'll leave my Super Nintendo cartridges up there, because they're not relevant to this discussion about the movies. I ain't new to this, I'm true to this, dog. Okay? Okay? I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. In fact, Josh, do you have the Mortal Kombat VHS? No, dog. Because I have both Mortal Kombat VHSs. Wait, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Did I say both Mortal Kombat VHSs? I meant all three fucking Mortal Kombat VHSs. I own a copy of Mortal Kombat. The Journey Begins. You know how everybody thinks Annihilation is the worst one? It ain't got shit on The Journey Begins. Okay? I ain't new to this, I'm true to this. I'm coming at you from a position of knowledge and power. And by the way, no, you know what? We're gonna dovetail. We're gonna field trip. We're field trip. Before I start playing, field trip. 40 minutes into the stream, we gotta do a field trip. Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins was an animated film. I'm gonna show y'all some of Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins so you understand how truly god-awful it was. That it's even worse than Annihilation. Okay. First.
Clans.
Nope. Right here.
No one may enter.
Nope. 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 Okay. 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 One spoiler in the dungeon. When I get there, sure. Yeah, no, if folks want to party up with me when I get to the dungeon time, please. This is Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins.
No one may enter.
Look, I just need to use the ship's radio. Now move!
No! My arm is freezing!
I'm going to keep going, actually. For a little.
Adjusted, you know?
This shit genuinely looks like it belongs on the Philips CDI. Oh, I need to turn off the give thing because I'm obviously not doing the stream anniversary anymore. I need to turn off the Philips CDI. This looks like it belongs on the Philips CDI. It looks like Hotel Mario or Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon. But you know, here's the thing. This is somehow not the worst and ugliest part of this movie. Because I'm going to tell you, on the fucking box for Mortal Kombat, the animated video, The Journey Begins, at the bottom of it you go one step beyond virtual reality with 3D animation like you've never seen before. And I'm going to show you guys a clip of the 3D animation like you've never seen before. And I will promise you, you ain't never seen some shit like this, okay?
Clans. Their clans had often fought on the plains of Outworld to decide who trained the best warriors. Thus, one day, Scorpion met Sub-Zero in a battle to the death. They were evenly matched, and for a long time, neither had the advantage. It seemed as if Scorpion's great speed would overcome Sub-Zero, but his opponent's cunning was more than a match for the Ninja Master. Each fighter possessed a special weapon, closely guarded secrets of their clan. Each warrior was forced to use these most special and deadly weapons. Come here! Watch out!
I own the VHS of that. I own it. Watched it on purpose as a kid. I know what you're thinking. Josh, come on. We know when Mortal Kombat originally came out. Like, the first games. That movie came out in 91, 92. CG, that's how everything looked back then. That movie came out 2.5 months before Toy Story. It came out in 1995. That movie came out a year after Reboot. Like the TV show. And again, they only had collectively 5 minutes of CG. The rest of it was animated cartoon. And they couldn't even get that part right. Okay? So let me tell you, I do love the original Mortal Kombat. I really, really do. This new one is superb. It's really good. If you love Mortal Kombat, especially if you enjoy like the lore of Mortal Kombat, I really think you'll dig it. And I gotta give a special shout out to Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. He's not just perfect as Johnny Cage, he's a perfect Johnny Cage for 2026. Like, he's a perfect Johnny Cage for today. Because of how they made him a Johnny Cage who, like, because obviously we wouldn't have 1995 Johnny Cage today. Like, we don't have action stars in the, like, yes, we have action stars, but we don't have them in the same way we had them in the 90s. Like, we don't have JCVD and Sylvester Stallone and all of them the same way. We don't have Jean-Claude Van Damme, who he was literally modeled after in the modern day. The closest we have is what? The homeboy who plays a Reacher? And even then, like, you can't really be that anymore. You have to actually be an actor. Like, an action star is someone like Chris Evans, who has to be able to actually act. You know what I mean? So they made it applicable to 2026. And I won't spoil how, but they nail it right out the gate. Perfectly done. And he's just superb from beginning to end. I was like, this is Johnny Cage. This is my Johnny Cage. Okay? I will say, if you've played all of the NetherRealm games, if you've played Mortal Kombat 9, X, all that, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, he was fucking Johnny Cage. Okay? He was. No questions asked. Truly, truly phenomenal. And yes, he's good in everything. All right, let's finally actually play the game. If you have a moment, Anoriand, Geode wants to take stock of the current crisis. Oblivion may be lacking the finer details in certain areas, so we'd like you to lend your perspective to the conversation. Here we go. Been a bit. Sorry to drag you into our meeting, but we need to get a better handle on the threats Alexandria is facing right now. Not at all. Much has happened since the state funeral, and a clearer idea of where things stand would be beneficial for us as well. Good, because I could use a catch-up. First things first, then. Let's discuss the state of the machine malfunctions. Every single sector reported instances of sentries attacking citizens without provocation, and vehicles suddenly becoming unresponsive to controls. And while these malfunctions were resolved fairly quickly, they nevertheless resulted in a considerable number of injuries and deaths. But you haven't heard anything about new incidents since then, right? Right. No additional reports have been logged, as far as I know. That's the good news.
The bad news is, I tried to take control of the soldiers when they started hurting people, but they wouldn't listen to me, even though I have the king's authority. Once things calmed down, I was finally able to make them give up their weapons. But if it happens again, I don't know if they'll ignore me like before.
The King of Resolve's authority is about the highest there is. Who is this man that can override it with such impunity?
Calyx. He lived in the age of the Storm Surge, as I did. Lest you forget, he was known for his advancements in electrope technology, and it was he who established preservation for the purpose of furthering his research. The wasting disease which afflicted him, however, was said to leave him scant years left to live. He must have chosen to undergo conversion into an endless, that he might continue his efforts into the present day.
Preservation's early goals seem noble enough. Exploring treatments for Levin sickness, designing Everkeep's core system, that sort of thing.
Why harm the people? I do not pretend to fully understand Calix's motivations, only that he appeared incensed by what he saw as mankind's failings. What was the line? Why harm the people he was ostensibly trying to help? There we go. He asserted that the strategy of adapting our species through generational succession was outdated, that evolution now requires us to forsake bodies of flesh in favor of eternal preservation. We already see how he's employed the stimulant to convince Alexandrians the endless conversion is their only hope for survival. Eternal life is assured for the 5,000 registered, then kneel. But this is merely one part of Calix's greater plan. He wants the key to interdimensional fusion. With that relic in his possession, he will draw ether from the reflections and expand his efforts to create endless 1,000-fold. If we mean to foil Calix's schemes, then our only option is to determine where he's hiding and put him down. Which, unfortunately, is easier said than done. I've been scouring the terminal we found in the depths of Everkeep, but I failed to uncover even the slightest trace of his activities. Give me a little more time, though, and I'm sure I can sniff him out.
I'll help you.
While Galulja and Shale are working on that, I think I'm going to take a look around town. I want to make sure no new problems have cropped up, as well as search for any information that might lead us to Calix. You're welcome to come along. Another malfunction could happen at any time, and I'd be glad to have some brawlers on my back. By the way, am I saying it correctly? Because it's been a bit since I've played, obviously. Is it Calix or Calix?
Count me in. Raha and the others are helping Oblivion patrol the other levels of the keep, so shall we stick to the streets of Solution 9?
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, you two. I appreciate the company. You were saying it right. I said Calix. Okay, cool.
I have to speak with the city's administrators about bringing in the Lance Guard. I want our soldiers around to protect... Alfino and Alize will be joining me for the meeting, so the three of us can cover that sector as soon as we're done.
Okay, it is Calix. Just want to make sure.
If I may, I'd like to join Anoriand's group, if you'll have me.
The more mouths to ask questions, the merrier, as long as you're aware of the dangers.
Thank you. I'll do my best not to be a burden.
I'm more worried about you, Geode. Don't do anything stupid. Pfft, you'll change your tune once we get back with the goods on Calix. Then the drinks are on you. Come on, let's continue this outside. Cool. Hey, so I know, because I'm starting to level my crafting stuff on the side as well. What do I actually need leveled to be able to turn time-worn sheet music into, like, actual sheet music? Because I know I need to do a thing. I know I need to level something, I just don't know which one. Alchemist, thank you. I know I could have just searched in Google, but, like, I remembered because I'm talking to y'all and I'm live, and so I just figured I'd ask real quick. Sorry. I was off in my own little world. Shall we get started?
Are you alright, Geode?
Me? I'm well enough, given the circumstances. It was the Queen's fondest wish that her subjects remain shielded from the horrors of death, and so they were for the longest time. Then, the moment mortality once again becomes an unavoidable fact of life, they're greeted with an outbreak of bloody violence. Many are bound to give the endless alternative serious consideration.
Indeed, and I do not blame them for that. It is only natural that some thoughts should come to mind. What I cannot forgive is the way Calix wields fear and misery to manipulate people into making that choice. No one, not Calix nor anyone else, should dictate how we cope with the specter of death. As one who lived as an Alexandrian, I wish to put the choices for this. And you think we can handle that responsibility? After everything you've seen of us? I forgot who it was, but someone has an emote of a Spheel dressed as Sphene. It is what I've seen. I awoke 4 centuries later to find our people living and laughing beneath Alexandria's banner. Though surprised and bewildered, I was overjoyed to see it so. You all deserve to be happy. I just need to point out, because I haven't played in a bit, I forgot. Sphene is fresh as fuck, let me tell you. Well then. Like, I'd rock that hoodie tracksuit. We'd best not let you down. I suggest we move as a group. We don't know if or when a battle would find us. Like the hoodie, crop, vest, sleek. Come on. Come on, look at that shit. You slap an Adidas logo on that? $4.99, easy. Hold on, what'd you think? Is that the grimoire you retrieved from the old castle? Yes, my parents gifted it to me when I was a child. They were adamant that I should learn to protect the things important to me. I was fortunate enough to have a tutor in the arcane arts, so I lay claim to some measure of skill. Some small measure of skill. If that's the case, it might be better if we split into 2 groups after all. It would certainly be more efficient for information gathering. There'll be Anoriand's group, and then the other one. The 2 of you can take the west side of the recreation zone, then. Anoriand and I will take the east. Very well. We shall end our patrol at the plaza, just past Trueview, and await you there. Shale definitely deserves credit, too. She was the one who found a way to put that together on short notice. Oh, for the clothing? Oh, I'm not giving Sphene the credit. She just, I mean, I give her the credit for having that shit on, because, like, part of, okay. I know they say clothes make the man, but also the man does make the clothes. Having that shit on is at least partially a you thing. It's a mental and emotional thing. Like, you gotta have that shit on. Now, you gotta have shit that you can have on, but you gotta have that shit on. Sphene got that shit on. Shale made that shit that Sphene got on. Let's do the rounds then. We'll see what's what and chat to the people we meet along the way. Pay special attention to anyone who looks overwhelmed or overly excited. Hopefully that will learn us a tidbit or 2 we didn't know before. What escorting? Duties require... Oh, come on. I know about escorting. God damn it. Are the sentries and airwheelers safe to be around now? I just know it's going to happen again. And maybe next time I'll be the one who dies in a horrible accident. I need a Neo-regulator. Becoming endless is the only way. Even Queen Sphene said so. Oh, the memories. I used to drink around here all the time. I made sure not to overdo it when I had work the next day, but once we were past the busy season, when the ladies weren't amenable to my company, well, you'd have to scrape me off the streets outside in the morning. Or afternoon. The worst I ever got was on what should have been the worst day of my life. If only I could remember it. I was still wearing a regulator back then. It was also the day I first met Shale, although I guarantee she's forgotten it completely. What has me in such a fine mood, you ask? Well, I've just registered my new regulator. I was leery of becoming nothing but memories at first, but now that I've gone through with the registration, I've never felt more at ease. Also, once it was done, the regulator displayed the current numbers. Of the 5,000 slots available, over 3,800 have already been filled. So if you're still hesitant, you've not much time to make your mind up. Mark my words, friend, when there's only a few slots left, it's going to get very ugly. That actually sounds accurate. You want to hear my story? While I appreciate you offering a sympathetic ear, there's not much to tell. If you must know, a good friend of mine died when those machines went crazy. His airwheeler dropped right out of the sky and he didn't survive the crash. Damn fool wasn't wearing a regulator. I know that's not so strange these days, but he'd never bothered with one. He was at peace with the idea of dying someday, and I thought I understood what that meant. until it happened. Anoriand, a word? I feel like there was a new factor in these stories we've heard, one we hadn't considered during our discussion with everyone in the back room. That fights are likely to break out. Yep. The fact that nearly 4,000 people have registered is worthy of its own report. But are you sure there wasn't anything else? That people are still deathly afraid? That's a point of concern, don't get me wrong, but I think we were actually aware of it already. That a victim of the violence wasn't wearing a regulator. Yes, that's it. The vast majority of residents have always worn regulators, so it's not a detail we'd normally think about. With the supply of souls cut off, though, more and more people have been going without them. We need to look into the casualties from the recent attacks and check whether or not they were equipped with regulators. Let's ask around on the street over to the east. It was pretty chaotic at the time, but maybe we'll find eyewitnesses who can help us confirm if this was a pattern or not. And yeah, I mentioned this already, but to be very clear to all of you, anybody who's like, yeah, I want to join in when you jump into the thingy, into the next dungeon, please feel free to hop on and we can roll. I would love to run it with y'all. It was once my job to deliver goods by hover cargo. That's why I know a fair number of names and faces throughout the city. The little ones who'd jump for joy when I brought them packages. The old lady who'd always greet me with a smile. I'd hate for anything bad to happen to them. Well, I mean, it's not here yet. Hello, how are you today? Please let me know if I may be of service. Citywide casualty data unavailable. Government officials are currently processing reports from all affected zones. Can you narrow it down to the recreation zone then? You must have some estimates on hand. Recalibrating parameters. Injured, 87 individuals. Casualties, 19 individuals. Casualties equipped with regulators, 0. 0. Oh, I see what yeah, none of them had regulators. You wish to know if the people who died in the machine rampage were wearing regulators. I'm sorry, but I was assigned to clear away debris. I didn't see any of the deceased. No bodies were present by the time I arrived, so I assumed the ushers had already done their work. I do remember there being patches of white dust scattered about that were quite a chore to clean up, but nothing else worthy of mention. Anoriand, I think it's time we rejoined Kryl and Sphene. I was half joking with my boast to Shale, but we may have stumbled upon something major here. We should share our findings and keep pursuing this avenue of inquiry. Didn't Kryl say to meet them in the plaza just outside of True View? Let's get going. Who's Gabbro? I know Feral Phantom. I know that one's continuing with the Arcadian. Have you not finished the Arcadian yet? No, I mean, it wasn't fully released as of 7.2. I don't think. Right? So essentially, you're saying that the people who were killed by malfunctioning machines weren't wearing regulators? Yeah, I've done everything up to 7.2. 7.3 wasn't released when I last was streaming and everything. Well, the numbers are still tentative and only apply to that one zone. We don't know how they'll stack up against the overall data, but this is definitely more than a coincidence. I think it's safe to say that anyone who had removed their regulator was a priority target. Now that you mention it, the person I was treating for injuries wasn't wearing one either. But why? Why are they being targeted over everyone else? Oh, I plan to, Shan. Based solely on the lack of neo-regulators, we cannot judge if a person has no desire to become endless, or if they simply fail to acquire one of the limited devices. But those who wear no regulator at all, they have clearly rejected the old system of using souls to revive themselves. Put another way, they have chosen to live their lives in the knowledge that death is an inevitability. The chances that such resolute people would wish to become endless are far lower, I would imagine. And so Calyx has chosen those least likely to accept his vision as victims to stoke fear and panic.
But there was no need to kill anyone! With the way things were, the people were already fearful enough. He could have found 5,000 willing citizens without all this madness.
You make a good point. Perhaps this sowing of terror is in service to another scheme, or he had some other need for the lives he's taken. What of the dust found at various sites?
Right, the sanitation worker's story. She saw no bodies but mentioned piles of white dust.
Dust but no bodies? Now where have I heard that before? Do you recall when we went to save Erenville from the sentries in the outskirts, that Usher Malachite told us much the same thing?
When I arrived, I found no body, only a pile of dust which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it.
That both stories speak of missing remains is suspicious enough, but in that case, we should confirm if this substance was present at other sites and attempt to ascertain its nature. Following this thread may lead us not only to an explanation for the missing bodies, but also the intent behind Calyx's murderous actions.
Yeah, my goal is I'm guessing over the next 2 weeks.
Anoriand, we need your help. I've lost control of the soldiers in the residential area. They might be trying to hurt people again.
Oblivion members are on their way now, but are you close enough to join them?
Damn it! Our new investigation will have to wait. Let's go! Yeah, TLDR, my goal and my hope is that basically by the end of May, I can have caught up on the MSQ, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, as well as the final tier of the Arcadian and tier 2 and 3 of Juno. Oh, that ain't great.
Stay back! Stay away from me!
I hadn't done any Juno because me and Alliance raids, but still. For me, I like it. I did it because, like, I got history with Vanity L, man.
Are you all right?
What happened here?
A sentry walked into my apartment, even though I'd locked the door and everything. I managed to run, but the man who tried to save me...
He did.
No weapons, which is to be expected, considering all the sentries were meant to be disarmed.
He had a weapon. It was called his fucking hand.
Yet it was ordered to attack all the same, even if that meant using its bare hands.
I'll leave matters here to you. I'm going to do a sweep of the surrounding area.
He did.
Do you know anyone else in this sector who no longer wears a regulator?
Oh, I don't think I've seen Isadora and her boy with theirs recently.
Oh, come on now. Speaking of.
Go to to them. Quickly!
Bam! Don't gotta get ready if you stay ready. Blah, blah!
I'll be fine. But Isadora's in bad shape.
Ah, fucking hell.
Mother. Mother, please.
Isadora! Oh, thank goodness. She wasn't struck anywhere vital.
I'm sorry. If only I'd gotten here sooner.
We just implied she's surviving. If only I'd gotten here sooner, then she'd super survive.
Everything will be all right. I promise to make your mother better.
Thank you, miss.
I mean, like, I get she's in some fresh kicks and a sweet fucking shortcut hoodie. But that's clearly Sphene, dog. You could just say it. See, he got that shit on too. I'd rock that shirt.
Sleep like that forever.
And those pants. I'd rock that outfit.
No, not forever. She'll wake soon. I'm sure of it.
That's good to hear. Thank you for saving her.
Well, tomorrow's never promised. That's kind of the point.
Forgive me. I was reckless. You shouldn't have had to waste time tending my wounds as well. Did you see our other comrade back there? He stayed behind in the lobby, but I heard the sounds of fighting. I'm sorry. He must have fallen protecting the residents. What do I want? Mesquite soup. Our comrade. You think he may have been struck down? If he is wounded or worse, I should go to him. Wait! Please. It isn't safe and you still need rest. Would you stay with Milos and watch over Isadora for me? We will tend to your friend. Thank you. Please be careful yourself.
Okay. Running over here. Where the motherfucker dead though?
Isatora's going to be all right then. I'm so glad. I've just finished my ministrations here. Our Oblivion comrade was beyond saving, I'm afraid. That brave soul, he gave his life to save another.
He died protecting me. I don't understand why any of this is happening. That sentry was behaving normally like any other. Then all of a sudden, it tried to kill me.
Weapons or no, Calyx commanded them to commit murder.
Is it over? We came as soon as Wayakwe sent word.
I'm sorry. By the time we arrived, it was already too late. Then Geode could be in trouble too. Once we have this radius locked down, we need to find him. But why? Has something happened? Possibly. We're not sure what, but he stopped responding to our communications. We need to prioritize securing the residential sector, though, at least until we regain control over the sentries. Then we should search for Geode. I agree. Since most Oblivion members have sworn off regulators, if our theory holds true, then they could be prime targets for the next attack. Please do what you can to shepherd the residents to safety, but avoid the sentries at all costs. Oh, thanks. Here, take these communicators. We've made modifications to them to prevent Calyx from intercepting the signal, and have been using them to coordinate movements with allies in the vicinity. Why, Aquay has one too, so I'll ask her to keep hailing Geode. Good luck, and stay safe. Geode said he would sweep the surrounding area, so he shouldn't have ventured too far. Let's get going. You see no sign of Geode. Perhaps you should search further to the east. Sprint! Mako Rutledge. That's a good name. What you look like? You got a fedora, my lady. You see no sign of Geode. Woyakwei's voice crackles forth from the communicator. Geode! Geode, answer me! There's no response. Perhaps you should continue to search further to the east. You know those vending machines probably sell drinks named like Florp. Get the latest flavor of Florp. And Spuzzgang. You see no sign of Geode. The neighboring residential Eorzea would be the next logical place to look.
This is the only place left. Let them be safe.
Geode, are you there? Answer me, please!
I'm here. Sorry for the long silence. I've been busy.
Oh, you're alive! Thank the gods! Where are you now?
The radius next door. The lobby is secure.
Because I've secured it.
I'll scout the second floor. Then I'll join it.
That a soul. Oh, they're killing them and harvesting their souls.
That dust.
Dust? What are you talking about? What's happening?
They're legit harvesting their
They're not
souls.
just collecting souls. They're draining the bodies of corporeal ether.
Okay.
The dust that we saw was all that was left of the victims. They must have modified the soul cells.
What up, Azim? Doing good, bro.
Don't gotta get ready if you stay ready. You out of ammo right now? Really? Dog, you had one job. You had one job. Like, if your weapons are...
You can't be here. You need to run now.
I may be out of mana, but I ain't out of options.
A trap.
Damn. Geode about to have the Brazzers logo slapped on him.
Take care of the others, eh?
No sign of him so far. This way, maybe? Geode!
Yeah. Kinda annoyed that Geode got done. This guy... Like, he was capable enough, man. I feel like having the reasoning being that I'm gonna assume it wasn't the lack of ammo, but that his gun misfired and, like, seized up, locked up.
A shame. I had hoped to leave here with at least one more cell's worth of ether. But seeing how eager you are to interfere, I shall cut this foray short.
Alright, Squid Games.
Alex,
Cut the shit.
what could you possibly stand to gain from these atrocities?
Look at me, I'm mysterious and talking to you through a robot. Suck my dick.
Ether sufficient to generate 5,000 endless. How would you acquire it?
How would I?
Until I have the key, the reflections are closed to me. Thus do I make do with the sources at hand. 7% of Alexandria's current population will yield the energy to convert 5,000 into endless. With 11%, operations could continue unabated for 800 years. Our bodies are fated to decay sooner or later. These ones refuse the gift of eternal life, so what difference does it make if I return them to ether now? I will not waste time and resources on meaningless conflict. This unit cannot offer you worthwhile resistance. Instead, I pose a question. Would you hand over the key if I promised to halt my harvest?
I'll halt your harvest by defeating you.
It was foolish of me to even ask. I return to my work then. There is much to do if I must take the key by force.
Okay. All right, let me do this. No, absolutely fuck Calyx. But again, like the whole, I'm gonna talk to you through the robot with the fucking Squid Game face.
This pile of dust. These ashes. And the soul cell he left behind. Was that his twisted way of returning Geode to us? Damn you, Calyx. Damn you and your damn cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified if him and 5,000 Endless could continue their immortal lives. And if Reflection's stolen ether allowed for many more Endless, why that too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Who could think that? Not I. Certainly not I. We know only too well. There is not noble in this sacrifice.
Oof. Yeah, Kral knows a little something about sacrifice. As do I.
We have to stop him. We have to find Calyx and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. And under no circumstances can we let the key fall into his possession, Anoriand. It falls to us. We must. We will thwart his plans here in Alexandria before he can terrorize innocents and Reflections elsewhere.
Okay, first. Because I didn't get to address this properly earlier. Azim! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Azim. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for swinging by, bud. Just wanted to say that because I didn't get a chance to properly sing it earlier. There was a scene. Da-da-da-da. As for your question, does each expansion have its own story or is it all one continuous story? Both. There is a through-line story that goes from the beginning of A Realm Reborn, which is the base game, up through what we're dealing with now. But each expansion does introduce new story elements and things that build atop one another as they go, and different things. So each one, they have part of the story is essentially self-contained, but they kind of spring into one another, especially looping backwards. Like, the things we're dealing with in Dawntrail mainly take place in a place called Tural, the land of Tural. And so this is the first time we've been to Tural, and we haven't been here before, so we haven't interacted with these characters in this place, but there are things we've connected to in the past that have to do with so much.
We should return to the back room. Shale and the others need to know what happened. Yes, I'll ask Wayarkway to meet us there as well.
That's why it's one of those things where it's like, I would argue it's very much a proponent of, it's not like with Final Fantasy as a series. Hold on. Appreciate you, Admo!
our dear Geode.
It's not like Final Fantasy is a series where outside of the literal handful, if that, of direct sequels, there are no, like, each game is self-contained. Like, yes, if you're gonna play Final Fantasy for the after years, you would probably want to have first played Final Fantasy IV. If you're gonna play 13-2, you would want to play 13. If you're gonna play 10-2, you would want to have played 10. But, like, 7 is disparate from 8, 8 is disparate from 9, 9 is disparate from 10. They take place in different worlds. They're unconnected. This isn't like that. This is, the stories do build on one another. You don't...
The soldiers. If only I'd been able to control them.
So, that's why I'm a big proponent of, you're gonna want to play through the whole thing, if you're playing it.
It's your fault, Gululja. The blame lies with Calyx. And with him alone.
Also appreciate you on the congratulations, y'all.
It's all so senseless. Why force his plans upon us when we're already happy? Living our lives. What does he even think life is? I'll never forgive Calyx for doing this. Or myself for being powerless to stop him. Wait, where are you going? To clear my head. Don't worry, I won't do anything stupid.
Stay here and get some rest. I'll make sure Nostalgia stays out of trouble.
Thank you.
Things would have been far worse if you and Geode hadn't rushed in there. Many people are still alive because of you. And after adding what you discovered to the leads we've dug up, I'm hopeful we can determine where Calyx is hiding.
I would just like to point out I technically didn't do anything. Like, literally nothing. This is one of the few times I've done nothing.
But not right now.
Geode saved some people, destroyed some machines. Sphene healed some people. I kind of just posted up.
We need time before we can move on. Just a little time.
Oh, Geode.
Give me 1 second to check something real quick. Okay. Sorry, I was just checking something real quick. Okay. Let the comrade come. Some days it's almost more than I can bear. Geode was... he was an older brother to Nostalgia and me. Shale knew him longer, though surely taking it the hardest. And that's on top of what happened with Kakua. Do you think you could check on her? See how she's doing? She's like to put on a brave face if it's me or my sister. Kafkiwa. Kafkiwa, that's what it was. I was gonna say something ridiculing it, but then I saw another thing about it, and now I'm mad. Ridiculing what?
I need to press on with the hunt for Calyx, but I can't seem to focus. I should be better about this, but... As you said, you need time to work through it. You're right. I ought to heed my own words. As it stands, I'm of no use to anyone. Kafkiwa used to say the best thing to do with grief was to let it all out. So I think I'll take myself over to Earth and Sai and say my goodbyes to Geode. Why don't you come along? I could use someone to blubber to if you've a shoulder to spare. Right then. Let's get out of Everkeep for a bit. Here we go. It's a fair trek on foot, so I've arranged for a couple of air-wheelers. They've had their communication modules removed, so even Calyx shouldn't be able to seize control of them. Say the word and we'll set off. Ready? We're flying close to the pylon, so follow my lead. You know the new Audemars collab that everyone's going wild for? Those ugly Swatch watches? I sure do. The things that look like... I mean, they look like... They're just... They look like some shit you'd find at Walmart. For years now, I've been taking one out for a turn whenever I needed to lighten my mood. I don't... Mind you, that's no offense to anyone getting a watch from Walmart, but like... People are acting like... You're about to buy a Movado. Sometimes Geode would come along too, and we'd end up... Does that surprise you? Our friendship always had a competitive edge. Like, I don't mind color, but we would often talk about how one day we might fly our wheelers outside the dome. But they're just ugly. Yeah, I wish you would have just rode on my mount with me. We got out here a lot faster, Shale. Almost there. Be sure the ground is clear before you touch down. Phew. It's helped clear my head a touch. You know, Anoriand, you might be the first person I've ridden with who wasn't an Oblivion recruit. As far as I remember, at least. The memories from my regulated days aren't exactly reliable. Come on, let's head inside. Hopefully the way will be clear of pests today. Oh no, I know. I'm just being a dick. I mean, like, dog, I have a really nice motorcycle. Like, we could have rode my really nice motorcycle. We'd get here faster. Also, this. Hell yeah. I do genuinely love the Dawntrail battle music. I'm a sucker for a good flamenco guitar. Thanks. We can usually avoid such encounters, but sometimes they want to run and block the only path. Not that it slowed you down at all. I've never seen you fight up close before, and the surveillance feed clearly didn't do you justice. Hopefully that keeps the route clear for a while, shall we? Someone is trying to say it's a slander campaign because one of the founders, Mr. Audemars himself, is a black man. Instead of the fact that those particular watches look like Burger King kids' meal toys. Yeah, they don't look good. It's not a slander campaign because he's black. In fact, I'm actually surprised to find out he's black. Gotta have a good catching up. Appreciate it, Liana.
Whenever we lost a comrade, the three of us would come back here to reminisce. Me, Geode, and Kafkiwa. Will you raise a glass?
Of course. To Geode's memory. I actually like that the option there is either you're raising a glass or you're raising it in spirit. Like, you can just have your character abstain from drinking. That's actually a nice little touch.
What are the two of you doing here?
I had a feeling you'd show up. Would you like to join us?
I suppose I could spare a moment. They tell us Oblivion's founders disappeared some decades ago under mysterious circumstances. And it was Kafkiwa who revived our organization. You and Geode helped her with that, didn't you? Tell us more about it. You're keen to know too, right? What they were like back then. The mad things they got up to. That sort of thing.
Those were the days. It was actually right before the Reformation that I met Geode. I still wore a regulator then. I'd recently lost someone close to me. I'd also quit a long stint as an adapter to work at a bar of all places. It paid me to sit with patrons and keep them company.
Won't let me travel to Adamantois. What? Because the server's full, kind of thing?
It wasn't long before we got into an argument. First-time customer, but tempers flared. And then one of us threw a punch.
Oh, these two was fucking.
You got into a fist fight? What were you even arguing about?
Damned if I know. We were deep in our cups. I think we were both just frustrated and angry at everything. By the end of it, we were both sprawled out in the street. Pair of drunken fools. Then this odd machine stopped to lecture us, scolding us for obstructing the foot traffic and not taking better care of ourselves.
I can't imagine you ever being in such a sorry state. The odd machine. That was Kafkiwa, I take it.
That it was. Once she was done upbraiding us for our unseemly behavior, she launched into a recruitment pitch. Kafkiwa explained that she wanted to protect the outside world from Zoralja's invasion, to keep him from bringing ruin to the place her beloved son lived. And if we were so intent on self-destruction, then perhaps we might consider risking our hides for a just cause. It was a lot to take in. I hadn't given much thought to what lay beyond the barrier, and learning that Kafkiwa herself was already dead was enough to make my head spin.
Right?
But Geode and I were intrigued by her ideas, and wanted to see this future of hers come to pass.
Geode often spoke of it. He told me that meeting Kafkiwa was what first taught him the value of remembering people.
Like he was sharing a holy revelation.
Oh, but back then you hadn't yet taken on Oblivion's name, had you?
Is that so? I just assumed.
It hadn't been Kafkiwa's intention to carry on Oblivion's legacy, nor adopt the cause your parents championed. Not initially, at least. She wasn't even aware such an organized resistance existed.
Then boom!
She did,
Surprise,
however,
motherfucker.
suspect the presence of other dissidents. Those who objected to resurrecting the memories of the dead in defiance of the natural order. In the hopes of identifying like-minded comrades, we began searching the core system for traces of unauthorized access. And that's how we found it. An anomalous sector in the back of the Neon Stein. According to Melancholy, the door to that mystery had remained firmly shut since she took over the business.
I think I can invite you to a party across servers.
The back
Hopefully.
room. The back room. We forced our way in, only to discover that the hideout had long been abandoned. Although the occupants were gone, the equipment they'd left behind contained records of a group calling itself Oblivion. After reading through their exploits and their vision for the future, we made the decision to carry on their work.
Thus were my parents' and Kafkiwa's hopes bound together.
And carried onward by Shale and Geode.
We could never have made it this far on our own, of course. Not without the strength of arms you and your friends provided.
Mostly me, but yeah. Just saying. Just pointing out for the court.
Losing comrades is a hard thing, but being here...
Am I wrong?
Thinking back on the moments we shared. I could see their smiles, hear their laughter. I feel their presence and I know they're still with us. But these memories of mine are for me alone. Reminders of why I chose to do this. And why I'll stay the course. Right. Time we got back to work. Thank you, everyone.
No, it's me who should be thanking you. Though the pain is still deep, I don't feel like I'm drowning in it anymore. Let's get out there and put a stop to Calyx. For you, for me, and for everyone who's ever believed in Oblivion.
Okay. I appreciate you helping me through this. And not only the grief, you've helped me see that my comrades mean even more to me than I realized, which only fuels my determination. I'll be spending every waking moment working to bring Calyx to account for his crimes. I'll do my part, then you do yours. Oblivion needs you. I guess, Battledance. It's time I went back to locating Calyx's lair. I have a new strategy in mind, but it remains to be seen if it will aid in narrowing down the possibilities. I'll ask Cryo for help. I want to re-examine the data, starting with that of her parents. After all, they were the first to break away from preservation and establish an organized resistance with Oblivion. There must be something in there that can point us in the right direction. What are your plans, Anoriand? Anoriand, is that you? Apologies for calling suddenly. I've been making the rounds in the outskirts, and I cannot help but feel as though something is amiss. Might I ask you to join me? Your perspective would be most appreciated. It can wait until you've finished attending to Shale, of course. It seems your plans have been decided for you. Go on. I have others to speak with before I return to the back room. Anoriand, thank you for coming. As I mentioned, I would benefit from your worldly experience.
Perhaps it's my imagination, but the townspeople appear to be acting oddly. That is, even considering the current state of affairs. As I am yet unfamiliar with the outskirts, I thought you might be better equipped to judge if their behavior is unusual enough. Would you speak with them and see what you think? Though I hope to be proven wrong, I fear something is not right here.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The update makes it to where you can walk and summon your mount all at once. You're not wearing a regulator. Don't you know the end is coming? Well, it's your life to lose. Me? I got myself one of those Neo-regulators and registered a little while ago. As soon as I did, a display appeared showing the number of registered users. Right now it's sitting at 4,168. The upper limit was 5,000, wasn't it? Seems the total shot up right after those machine malfunctions. It's only a matter of time before everyone's registered. I pity those who weren't chosen, but I'm going to be an endless. I'm going to evolve and live happily ever after. Sure, bud. Whatever you say, Jan.
Oh, please tell me you brought more Neo-regulators. Officially, they've all been handed out already, but I've heard rumors there were a few left over. Surely the government still has one? Or perhaps Queen's Fiend? I may not look it, but I was a hunter once. Back then, I hardly gave it death a second thought. But now that I know the truth, it's all I can think about. There has to be a way to hold on. There has to.
Keep holding on, 'cause you know we'll make it through, we'll make it through.
Greetings! I remember when you visited with the Queen's Fiend. Come to check on our well-being, have you? Well, I can say things are rather stressful out here as well. Without knowing if or when our machinery might turn murderous, the specter of death is ever present. People are terrified, and the clamor for Neo-regulators has reached a fever pitch. I personally was fortunate to have claimed a new device early on, and have long since completed the registration. Death has no hold over me now. Now I must begin my prayers. The darkness draws closer, grows deeper, and we must cast it out.
And you know what they say? Fuck everybody but me.
So what do you think? Was I right to worry?
Tensions are running high.
Yes, that is exactly it. The people are overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear, and with each new registration, that fear inside them grows more insistent. How long until it drives them into full-blown panic? Anoriand, can you come to resolution? We have a problem. I'm already here with Lamati and Alfino. It sounds like she wants us there in a hurry. We should go.
What's happened? Sorry to drag you out here, but I thought it best you see for yourself.
Death is your constant companion. Though you toil with diligence, death may come ere your reward is bestowed. Though your grand works be poised for completion, death may come ere you wake the following morn.
Okay, good. Inspiring shit. Positive. Good for everybody.
Though you enjoy a life of peace and good fortune, death needs but one instant to claim you.
Yes, but death is... I know that's the point. Death is what makes life worth living.
Your bodies are weak. Your heart, your brain, every fragile organ rolls the dice from moment to moment. Sheer chance deciding if they function or fail.
That's the whole point of Lost Odyssey.
Be you stoic or generous or righteous, no virtues tip the scales in that fatal reckoning. The choice is made without reason. The end is cloaked in terror. That is what it means to die.
It's really awesome
The
how...
announcement began after we finished our meeting with Gossen. As for its source, well...
Calyx.
There is no shame in being afraid. It is that very fear which will drive you to conquer death.
Using some of that Catholic
Let
guilt.
us set a new course for mankind. Let us preserve our existence unto perpetuity.
Remember how we said 5,000?
For it, wish for it, pray for it.
There's actually 50,000.
Become endless. With evolution's brilliance, will we banish the ever-present darkness of mortality.
Change isn't easy. No one ever wants to take the first step. But this is the right path for us. What other way could there be? I'm gonna do it. I'm going to register.
Change isn't easy. And that's why I refuse to change.
You couldn't have come at a better time. Please, you have to let us move to Tural.
It's too dangerous to stay here. Who knows when the next century will turn on us? Even if we wanted to become endless, there are no more neo-regulators to be had. Fleeing is our only option.
I mean...
If the solution was as simple as leaving, then we'd all have left already. Did you not hear the announcement? For the living, death is a foregone conclusion. No matter where we go, or who we shelter with, we won't get another chance like this to overcome our fate.
Easy for you to say when you have that regulator.
Like, I really love this dude had the
Landsguard are on their way as we speak.
fucking gall.
Arrangements have been made to see that you all will be safely evacuated.
You had the fucking gall to say change isn't easy.
Tulisyola will aid you in whatever way we
And
can.
that's why I'm not changing.
So please, remain calm.
I want to help Alexandria. I want to save its people. But what can I do?
Fight.
I am not their queen.
You can always choose to fight. With whatever it is you can do and whatever it is that you have. You can always choose to fight.
Calyx has access to the core system, which means that if he chooses to do so, he can deploy the soldiers beyond the barrier. Even if our people learn to live with death and decide to leave the dome behind, they will not be beyond his reach. Yet if it serves to allay their fears even a little, I beg you, Clement, please let them shelter in Tuliyola. We will welcome any and all who want to come. We've already begun evacuations, and we'll be able to pick up the pace once the land cart arrives. In which case, we had best spread out and keep an eye on the crowds. The mood is tense, and we must prepare for possible violence. If you happen to determine where Calyx is hiding, though, we'll be ready to move at a moment's notice. Surely we'll find a clue of some kind soon. He can't elude us forever.
Violence and fear. This is not the future she envisioned for her nation. You're blocked by Saina Briar? How?
Tuliyola would gladly welcome every last Alexandrian with open arms. But what of the nation the late queen was so desperate to preserve? What of that bright haven of peace and laughter?
Who Clement? She was saying some wild shit and I checked her and she'd be like, what wild shit was she saying?
I won't stand here and let her legacy be sullied any further. I'll protect Alexandria. That was the promise I made her at the least. But she betrayed you, did she not? Why do you feel this obligation? I saw myself in her, I suppose. We both felt the people's joy as our own, yet alone we lacked the strength to protect them. There is so much that I love in this world. Too much for me to take in my arms and keep safe. And that made me afraid. I needed someone who shared that love and fear, so together we could do what we couldn't by ourselves. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe I just wish that we could have been friends. So when she turned to me in her final hour, desperate to safeguard Alexandria's future, I swore that I would see it done. In the end, I think you both found the friend you needed. I would be yours as well, Sphene. Whenever you fall or struggle to rise, I'll come running to the rescue, and you do the same for me. That's how we'll protect the things we love. That's how we'll protect Alexandria. You're right. You're right. And don't forget about me. How could we? We'd not be where we are now without you. Right, we got a bit sidetracked there. We should probably be on our way. Do we patrol or see if Shale needs a hand?
There you all are.
Galulja! Oh, splendid. We were afraid we'd miss you. Alizé and the others said you were here. Good news, Anoriand. We finally found a chink in Calix's armor. We discovered laboratories on Everkeep's 10th level that once housed a preservation initiative. Containment Complex 1029, it's called, and it's been falsely registered as a distribution center. In reality, it hasn't recorded any traffic in decades. We don't think this is where Calix is hiding as such, but it may well contain clues that will point us in the right direction. I'm sorry it took so long just to get this far. If you're interested, what do you say we all go and check it out together? Thank you for all your hard work. This is a huge step forward.
And up! We need to take the lift to get to the complex.
I've cleared this expedition with the relevant authorities, and we have one of our people waiting to operate said lift. Let's not keep her waiting. This was a bit ago, I don't remember anymore. Alright. I know she's not like a terrible person. I know multiple people who know her personally in real life. Like. So. That being said, anybody is capable of saying some wild or out-of-pocket shit or being misguided about a thing. So, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend she's infallible, especially because I don't know her personally. But I know multiple people who have met her in person who say she passes, for lack of a better way of putting it, she passes the smell test. Ready to head on up? Next stop, the 10th level. Not that these people were smelling her, to be clear. But I very much wouldn't... Yeah, I don't think she's somehow bad. I think she's the same kind of centrist as other people. Fair.
So this is one of Preservation's laboratories.
I also wouldn't be shocked if there was an element of her reflexively getting defensive about shit that she shouldn't. Because she is so constantly in defense mode that it causes her to attack positions that she probably otherwise, she probably shouldn't. But
just a moment.
She has to exist,
reroute the power to the circuit.
Which isn't me giving an excuse, it's me giving a reason, to be clear. It's not me saying, therefore it's okay. It's, nah dog, like,
you got the lights working.
When you're on the marginalized side of the equation, that's all the more reason you should be aware of what's going on. But it can explain how we got there. That's why I'm not right. It's one of those things where you acknowledge and like, you said some stupid shit. I was like, hey, you shouldn't say this.
Been in use for many years.
And she just lives on the defensive for unfortunate reasons.
That we managed to locate this place.
So.
You may remember that my earring contained the control code for the gate to the Golden City.
I do.
As it was Preservation that constructed the portal, we reasoned that the code to operate it might include a signature of some sort, unique to their organization.
So I took a closer look, and a line-by-line examination yielded a string of symbols identifying the code's author. We then began accessing the nodes for every door in Everkeep, seeking out control codes which contained those same symbols. After a grueling search, we finally discovered our prize behind door number 1860, the entrance to the facility in which we now stand. I'd probably still be at it if Galulja hadn't been around to assist me.
I'm a hacker.
I took breaks, but Shale never stopped working. Not even once.
You're a treasure, Shale.
I can contribute precious little else, I'm afraid, but I appreciate your kind words. In any case, this next part will require your helping hands.
We need to spread out and search for something that may lead us to Calyx. We're more than happy to help, of course.
I think I'm shipping Shale and my wool.
Won't he realize we've found this place?
You're cheating on your girl?
It's highly likely, and personally I hope he does.
Can't believe you, Shan. I've never done something like that. Completely misaligned us.
You all know the main objective. We're here to pick up Calyx's trail, and I've learned of a certain device that should help us do just that. I'll explain how as we proceed, but according to the information I was able to dredge up, the device in question should have been installed in the director's office. Now, as for where that might be, yes, this map matches the data. This room we're in is the Researchers' Commons, located in the western side of the complex. The director's office is to the northeast of here. So, we should cut across the circular chamber in the middle, yes? Yes, we should, but... Unfortunately for us, the interior door is locked. We need a security key with the appropriate clearance to open it. Judging by the mechanism, it'll probably be a card of some kind. Can't you, work some electro magic? I'll try my best, but this type of lock is well before my time. It may take a while to crack it, and in case I can't, you might want to look around and see if anyone left a security card behind. Considering the state of the place, it does seem likely they abandoned it in some haste. I shouldn't be surprised if we found one. Very well. Let's go searching, shall we? I expect we'll have the most luck looking where the researchers kept their personal belongings.
Yeah, Shan. No, I get Shale. Begin searching. Close cooperation will be necessary to overcome the obstacles. Helpful hints will appear in a different color. Pay close attention to information provided should you find yourself unable to proceed. Sadu. That's what I was going to say. I was about to say, literally, homegirl on the plains. I couldn't remember her name, but I was like, the one who's the clan leader. I was like, I know that's Shan's girl. This appears to be the only desk with the drawers already open. You could tell at a glance that the desk former owners left some things behind. Rifle through? Sure. You discover a card-shaped object. The electro-absorber is marked with a bold level 1.
Oh, could that be what we're looking for? Try it on the door and see if it opens.
Did I literally fucking first try this shit?
Scanning device. Card-shaped object should be a similar size.
Sadu's my chick, LOL, but also Shale. I'm Polly, it's fine. I'm good with that. Zero judgment. You hold the card-shaped object up to the scanner. I could question it with Shale. There is zero doubt in my mind Sadu is Polly.
And a good timing, too. I was getting nowhere with that outdated circuit.
Fucking first timed it, boys.
I'm curious, though. Why would they abandon a facility like this? It was run by a Dr. Demetrius, or so that terminal there told me. Perhaps there are more answers to be had once we venture further inside. Then let's continue onwards. The door to the rector's office is across the central hub.
Sadu is effectively a genderless murder machine. That's obviously hot to me. Correct! And again, like... Sadu is 100% bi, pan, and poly. Like... Sadu just Sadu, I put Sadu in the same category as Tataru. You could ship him with whoever. They fuck. You may not like it, but it's a fact. You hold the level 1 security card up, but the scanner beeps in disapproval.
No good. Maybe we need a different card.
Yes, the scanner is demanding a level 3 security clearance to open the lock. As much as the delay chafes me, we'll just have to comb through the nearby rooms and hope we stumble upon the card we need. Let's start our search in the proto lab. The door's already open, at least. We'll find a way through together, Shale. I'm sure of it. The way this room is set up, the canister inserted into the large device looks to be a soul cell. Could this be where they conducted their experiments to create Endless? But we could probably spend days investigating this complex. Finding a way into the director's office must take precedence. Speaking of which, Galul-Ja mentioned a locker over in the corner that he couldn't open. Perhaps you can take a look? The locker door is shut tight, but the number pad suggests that inputting the correct combination will open it. You've yet to uncover... Okay. No. Appears to be a data tablet. Skim through the entries. Tabbing in my employment. Organization wasn't familiar, but when I've had a gut feeling this place will be far more fulfilling. Man seeks will correct. This was called a refined deal. Flesh and blood. A director. Master Calix. Money was permitted. Is a Queen's Fiend. As predicted, the shortage of ether required to sustain the Endless is reaching critical levels, yet Queen's Fiend insists on continuing her ineffectual flailing. Our Milala colleagues, including the prototypes I've been involving, should I report my concerns? Back up my memory. Nope. Okay. Not there.
I dug through this data tablet and find a journal. I read it to you. The results of Experiment 158 show a marked improvement in ether extraction rates. At last, we've achieved the largest value set by Master Calix. Though I'll become endless as per our ascendancy protocols, I will preserve this historic number along my remaining worldly effect. Yep. 158.
Set the number keys. I'm gonna assume. Okay. It's not 158. It's fucking red herring ass answer. Please, I'm getting itching to get my hands on them.
These notes seem to be about the research they did in here. Let's take a look. Experiment 148. Submitting inference candidate 201930 to be considered for efficiency procedure review. Experiment 158. Maximum value of 11509 recorded. That's what it is. Because that's experiment 158, 11509. We're fine. I got this. 11509. Confirm. Hell yeah. Sweet hangers. The locker pops open and you discover a level 2 security card. So the level 2 security card will let me go to another room where I can go to a level 3 security card.
Anoriand, you got the locker open. And you found another security card. Oh, but does that say level 2? We needed a level 3, didn't we?
Yes, but it should open more doors for us to explore. You did well, Anoriand. These preservation members lived such surprisingly normal lives, leaving notes, losing their cards. I guess I imagine they'd be more... what's the word? Bloodless? Mechanical? My parents were once part of preservation, if you'll recall. It would seem the researchers who agreed with Calix and his philosophy underwent the conversion to endless entities. But I assume those who could not, or would not, eventually left the organization altogether.
Oh, I almost forgot. The researchers kept journals in their data tablets. The one I read doesn't explain much, but something big happened in the complex, and afterwards it was decided that everyone would become endless. The writer was really happy about this. You could tell how much they admired Calix and his work. The entries ended after that, but maybe you can read more in the other tablet there.
Right, let's move this investigation to another room. Well, we have the Tural lab and the maintenance facilities left to search. Both are accessed via the southeast corridor.
So I guess it's back to the hub and the locked door across the way.
Which will hopefully yield before our new security card. I'll take the old one if you like. I doubt we'll have any more use for it.
Shit! Didn't mean to second wind. It's fine. Scanning device. Bing bong. Bing bong! Yes, it opened. So we shall go first. The Tural lab or facilities?
Let's start with the lab. Shale, there doesn't seem to be any power here.
No, none at all. It's possible the energy supply for this room is on a separate conduit, which means there should be a contingency for opening the door. Look here, there's a sign above the card scanner. In case of emergency, backup power can be rerouted from facilities. The facilities room is down the other branch of this corridor. Let's see about getting the power restored to the Deutero lab, shall we? Okay. Engaging power supply. No good. It's returning an error. There must be a preliminary procedure. According to this error code reference, if the power supply has been interrupted for an extended period of time, then we need to reconfigure both the emergency generator and the circuit control panels.
Shale? That's the emergency generator over there, isn't it?
Yes, and by the looks of it, it's the same model as the one used in Heritage Found.
But how does it send power to the other lab?
Ah, I see. The energy cable attached to the base of this terminal, leads down the hall directly to the Deutero lab, which means we need a way to connect the generator to that cable. What about these patterns on the floor? Could this be the circuit we need to reconfigure? I believe you have the right of it. Using the control panel set into each of the tiles, we create an unbroken path for the power to follow. What I wouldn't give for an instruction manual. Indeed, if we could look around for any written procedures, I'll keep digging through the terminal's directories. Might I also ask someone to operate the generator?
I can do it. I've used that type of machine before.
Then would you be willing to try and reconfigure the circuit path, Anoriand? The rest of us can help by supplying Anoriand with whatever information might be found on the circuitry configuration. I don't need your help to reconfigure that. I got it. Famous last words, but I got it. Okay, where does the thing kick in? Here. Okay, cool. Which pattern will you set? Triangle? Cool, because it's... Yes. So then I need the... circle. And then I need the square here. And then I need... the diamond? I know that's the answer there, that's the answer there. Is that it? No. Take a look at this diagram. So note at the bottom about the... Configure the 4 control pads to provide an uninterrupted path. These symbol must represent the room we're in. If that square in the top left is Shale's terminal, then the bottom right should be the generator that Galul Jaw's working on. Sorry to make up... Assuming these are forward... The bottom right is a square, and the top right is half a circle. Okay, square. Bottom right square, top right is half a circle, so then it's just... circle. No. Half a circle. Triangle. That triangle is not the answer. Hypothetically, if I hit circle again. No.
Diamond? I had that already. Wait, is this also diamond? Is that what it's supposed to... Wait! Here's where I fucked up. This is a diamond, and then this is the triangle. Fucking nailed it. Yep, got those two flipped. Realized it right as you were saying it, Chan.
It worked!
We did it, Anoriand. The Tural lab should now be fully powered. Well done, everyone. If I may, Shale, could we access a certain data log before moving on? I was checking the storage shelves and one of the labels caught my eye. Preservation, the early days is the title. Of course, it'll only take a moment to bring up the contents. Ah, it looks to be a text-based account. I'll read it out. Preservation, an Alexandrian Institute for Technological Development, was founded by Calix, an 11-year-old child prodigy. Approval for establishing the organization came during Alexandria's involvement in the Storm Surge, with Calix's designs for new defensive solutions funded in large part by the Treasury. As the conflict grew in intensity and casualties mounted, Calix funneled Preservation's resources toward the perfection of memory storage. Research into this field continued even after the Storm Surge came to an end, with Calix eventually electing to preserve his own memories in a virtual domain. So this account is from before he embraced his endless existence, hundreds of years ago. I met him only once, before the Storm Surge began. I was attending my father, who was then the reigning king of Alexandria. Calix could not have been more than 10 years of age, and required constant treatment for his debilitating illness. Yet still he published theories so highly regarded that even the royal family was aware of his achievements. Life should not be lost to the injustice of death. Even now I can hear the single-minded will behind his words. So it was that when war came to our kingdom, my father was quick to commit his unwavering support to this somber youth in his proposals for preservation. Several years later, the ensuing violence brought the death of both my parents. Overwhelmed as I was by my sudden succession to the throne, I suspect they spared me the reports on endless research and other less urgent matters.
So you had no way of knowing what kind of person Calix was changing into?
Did he change? I wonder. Perhaps he has ever been the type to value ideals over compassion, and I failed to see it at the time. Or perhaps he did change, but it is still driven by those same deeply held beliefs that mortality is cruel and unjust, and his role is to deliver mankind from this fate. Whatever the case may be, we cannot allow him to shape our future. Let's press on, shall we?
Here's how you know Calix is a fucking scrub. Okay? And I do mean this.
If I've done my job correctly, the door to the Tural lab should be accessible now. I'll give everything a once-over just to be sure.
Here's how you know Calix is a fucking scrub. Because he could have made his endless body be super, super dope Giga Chad. And he chose to look like a fucking Dickensian child.
The energy current seems stable enough. Still, you should let me handle this one. The security card, if you please. Oh, and a quick prayer that a shorted wire doesn't burn me from inside out.
Mesquite soup. Right, I'll get this door open.
Phew. Smooth as silk. Let's head inside and see what awaits.
Cool.
Gods above, isn't that...
Yup.
The key to interdimensional fusion. That looks to be a schematic on the monitor. And they've used it to make another key, but it isn't missing the shard inside like the one Anoriand has? Ah, we may have been laboring under a misconception. The key was originally a Malala relic. Once this treasure came into its possession, Preservation began working to harness the power across dimensions. Aside from the crystal, we can see that all the vessel's components were constructed here. So what might that tell us?
This is just the device they made to control it.
That would be the logical conclusion, yes. It is as my parents explained. The key remained shrouded in mystery. Preservation augmented it with electrope, but never grasped the technology's underlying principles. To this day, not a single person understands the mechanics of interdimensional fusion. Not who imbued the key with its power, not when they did so, nor why. Now it makes sense. Calyx can track the key because its vessel was made by... Yeah. I believe there is much we may learn in this room. On our next visit, I will have to enlist Y'shtola's assistance for a thorough investigation. I too am curious about a great many things, but pinning down Calyx's whereabouts is our priority. Hopefully there's a security card here that grants access to the director's office. The research conducted in this lab appears to have been highly confidential in nature. Some of the personnel must have belonged to the organization's upper echelons, and that means higher security clearance. We should spread out and look for any cards they left behind. Remember, anything less than a level 3 is no good to us. The sturdy-looking shelving unit holds a storage crate. No signs of card. Cabinet drawer. Find a security card. Oh, did she just find a security card? Well, that's a stroke of luck. Let's have Shale examine it to be sure. Well, well, if it isn't exactly what we needed. Nice work, Anoriand.
Oh, a level 3. That should get us into the director's office.
So what was it you were hoping to find in there again, Shale? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us. Right. I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep security cameras. Considering the way Calyx is always one step ahead of us, we must assume he's quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system and has been using it to monitor our activities. To monitor what you, as the keyholder, are planning. But since Calyx is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him, which is why I need the data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all the surveillance traffic, then you can pinpoint Calyx's position. That said, he's done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be entirely on the wrong track. Maybe the reason he isn't stopping us is because he can't. Back in the old castle, Calyx said he was measuring Anoriand's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than him? 2 Anorians. Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled the surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data, though, if you'd like to see it. Of course. I'll start the show, then.
Are you really planning to leave?
Yes. The idea of eternal life. It's begun to frighten me. I struggle to renounce our conventional wisdom. Death is the means by which life prunes its branches, leaving the trunk to grow strong and tall. We die so that our species may flourish.
Mm-hmm.
What would become of mankind were we to halt that process? If unending stagnation is the fruit of our labor, then perhaps we strive for the wrong thing.
Your argument is a rejection of Master Calyx's vision.
Sure is.
I suppose it is. Perhaps such dread would not plague me, were I capable of sharing his perspective on the subject. But I cannot. He and I are too different, in too many ways. I lack his extraordinary genius. I had no illness threatening to cut my life short, no singularity of will to cut away all distractions and focus solely upon research.
I have nothing but respect for his determination. The way he overcame his prognosis and seized the means to transcend death itself. But I'm not convinced that this obsession with living is the right path. That's why I've decided to leave preservation and put all my effort towards building a legacy for the next generation to come. Surely you...
Protocol, you understand. There can be no exceptions.
You don't want to live forever? Then you can die right now, Mr. Bond. I just feel like that's not protocol. She only wanted to leave and he executed her. I checked the images against the personal data, and the man who pulled the trigger was directed Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calyx. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from the other researchers. I'm not surprised, given how my parents described their defection from the Institute. They spoke of rushing me through a portal, even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dared not ask what became of them after that, but if it turns out they were captured by their pursuers... They did not regret their actions. Right, the Echo. Knowing you saw them as they were, your words give me great comfort. Oh, Kryl. Worry not, Sphene. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on. Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and Preservation. What we do know is that your mother and father cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure no one could cross into the Source or threaten their child's safety. Right, let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion.
To the director's office.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that was standard protocol. I gotta be real, y'all. I do not think that was standard protocol. I want you to show me the fucking HR manual that says if they fuck up, shoot them. You hold the level 3 security card up to the scanner.
There we go. Let's head inside.
Now to find that data relay. And don't be shy, everyone. Speak up if anything odd catches your eye. Anoriand, come with me. I might have need of that security card. Damn, this terminal isn't connected to any outside network, so it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. I mean, she was talking about an infatuation with Calyx, and, Calyx is a child. Could be. Could be. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? Sorry, Anoriand, could I ask you and the others to search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? Let's look in the shelves. Found a crumpled note wedged between the file binders. Secure room lift access. Requires passwords to be input simultaneously to terminals in the Proto Lab, the Tural Lab, and the Director's office. Perhaps this discovery would be of interest. Sure would. No problem, Shem. Amongst other personal effects you found was presumably the Director's data tablet. A closed locker stands next to the table. Examine the data tablet. Pick it up. Begin skimming. Data reports. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation potential remains unsolved. Key triggering an explosion. 13 researchers fatal injuries. Nothing of note. Major incident details in full report.
Those two inept Malala broke with preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. And the only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calyx as physical instruments to conduct experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depths of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down. All personnel will have their bodies reduced to ether, which will be allocated for further experimentation. Memory data will be archived. Any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calus' discretion. If he does not deem us fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I'll process my own corporeal dissolution. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition. Whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise, it must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calyx requires. Maintained in stasis mode. Okay. Beverage station. Having lain dormant for years, the now active coffee maker's already entered a self-cleaning cycle. It appears to have no other purpose beyond brewing coffee, though it remains to be seen what it's able to do so once more. I want coffee. The collection of soul cells may once belong to the director. They appear to be empty. Have you found something? Note. Thank you. A misplaced note, was it? With instructions for accessing a secure room, no less. Seems we need to enter a password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There was no such room marked on the map, was there? No. A precautionary measure, no doubt. And if passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed too. Concealed? By electrope, you mean? Oh, could it be that wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past.
Remember what Kafkiwa used to say, Shale? Never trust an electrope surface.
You can pass right through electrope. Truly? It never had that property in my time. Ah, Anoriand is having a little fun, I think. What we mean is electrope can project a false appearance. In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable.
Another door!
I managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. Didn't that note lay out the password protocol? I say we go ahead and try it. I agree. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input while the rest of us look for the passwords here in the office. I'll take the proto lab. Then I'll take the tutoro lab. Actually, it might be better if you stayed, Sphene. Your knowledge of Alexandria and its people could be needed here. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that may be something I can help with.
I can help too. I lived my whole life in Alexandria after all.
I will take tutoro lab duty then. We can keep in touch via communicator to match our timing. Anoriand, you shall have the honor of entering the office password. Once we've determined what we need to input, take your place at this terminal. I stand by to guide Wu, Clement, and Kryl through the process. No, there was a display plate over there. The one with the gems? I thought since it was made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. But I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. No, it needs another gem. Open the locker. Is there going to be a gem in there? Alright. You know... I got nothing. 2 jewels embedded. You identify the blue gem as a sapphire and the red gem as a garnet. There also appears to be an empty slot for another jewel to fill. Let's take a close look at the reports. One of them might have hints to the passwords. No, I gotta solve the cube puzzle. Solve the puzzle.
You got it.
Means it's a Rubik's Cube, and we have this...
Let's see, if I move this bit to connect this circuit to this one... There! Huh? There was something inside.
It's a pretty green stone. Yep, cool. Gimme. Alright, the passwords
Alexandrite, Garnet, and Sapphire. What up, Yami? Good to see ya. Yep, okay. Floor plan of the complex. Yep. Wuklamat's password is Sapphire.
I knew the jewel would come in handy. Let me see. Heed the stones. This must be about the special meanings Alexandrians have for gem. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you ask Fiend, she could tell you all about it.
Oh, come on! Why can't the password just be Sapphire, Garnet, and Alexandrite?
Yes, if you have questions, you know only math. The symbolism of Alexandrite. Well, I was taught that it was the concept of protection. Oh, you think this has something to do with the passwords? A sapphire and garnet as well, you say? Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite, as I said, is protection. Sapphire represents honesty, and garnet symbolizes devotion. Okay, Wuklamat is honesty. Start with Wuklamat. What word should she enter? Honesty. Kryl should do devotion. And what should we do here? Protection. Right, we have all three passwords. Now enter them in the system at the same time. Just finished updating the Steam Deck, prepping for taking it with me traveling for vacation, because there's no way I'm taking that thing internationally for work. Fair. I did open the locker, Shan, and I was aghast.
Yes!
Oh, I'm so glad that worked.
The secure room is the only place we've yet to search. If the data relay is anywhere, it has to be there. We'll venture in as soon as Wuklamat and Kryl rejoin us. I literally just was like... Yeah. Like, the game's reaction was the same as mine. The whole, there was nothing of note. You quietly closed the door. Alright, everyone, time to board the lift and see what awaits us. I had the same thought of like... Anything particular looking forward to playing on it, Yami?
This terminal doesn't look special to me, but this is definitely what we're after?
It is. But whether or not it will suffice for our purposes is another question.
The Endless are created using the memories.
Like, there's no good defense of it is the problem, Chan.
But as memories are, in essence, collections of data, the resultant entities have no physical form. These data entities, as we might call them, have only two methods for interacting with the material world.
It's like you're obsessed with young boys. No, 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 no. I'm obsessed with one specific young boy.
Are granted temporary bodies through the use of corporeal ether. They become much like solid ghosts that one can see and touch.
Sit down, have a cookie.
Which Kafkiwa employed is the remote operation of a machine. But where do you suppose the Endless are to be found when not inhabiting a physical body?
The Endless are memories, and if memories are data, then...
World form of data?
Yes, we suspect they reside in a virtual domain, one contained entirely within an electro-based machine. We've seen such a realm before, after all.
Oh, you mean like the Alexandria made from the Endless Fiend's memories? It all seems so real.
So this virtual domain, it would also be housed within the Meso terminal.
But how? I thought we shut down all the terminals in living memory.
You did. And Kafkiwa's program performed just as she intended. The meso-terminal itself was deactivated, as evidenced by the failure of the device which was keeping Sphne's body in stasis. Be that as it may, we face a master of electrope engineering. That he managed to partition and protect the sector harboring his own memories is well within the bounds of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Let us say that the meso-terminal does indeed contain a second domain, and that Calyx himself resides
That reminds me of that
there.
episode of 30 Rock when Frank was in
This
love with
city, on the
Liz's
other
young
hand,
boyfriend, and at the end we
exists
see him at a
here in
gay
the
club
source.
dancing and just going, I can't do it
That
anymore.
being the
I thought I was
case,
just gay,
I
but I
thought
was just gay
perhaps
for
we could
Jamie,
prevent his
and runs
remote
off the club.
interference
Correct.
by closing the gate to the Golden City, and thus severing the connection between worlds.
Except I tried to close it once already when I visited Living Memory. The process required administrative authorization, a restriction I assumed at the time had been imposed by the Queen.
But now you think Calyx might be responsible.
Just as I suspected. Even now, security transmissions from throughout the keep are being tapped by the core system and routed elsewhere. Almost every single one has you as its focus. He's keeping track of the keyholder's movements.
That's weird.
Time's up, and what a waste of time it's been. Hoping to find me by tracing security data? That will not be necessary.
Okay.
Through a not inconsiderable effort, I've taken your measure and prepared a force sufficient to subdue you.
You're wrong, but sure.
Come. I invite you to the upper reaches of the meso-terminal. The storage device which holds my memories is there.
Like, I'm just gonna say it, dog.
Break the memory bank and victory is yours. I, in turn, will seek to wrest the key from you with any and every means at my disposal.
I'm just gonna say it.
And if we refuse
I have
this
taken
invitation-
down the greatest remaining Ascian. I have taken down the fused concept of light itself. I have taken down the Endsinger. I will be damned if I'm ever gonna lose to a twink.
Answer me one question, Calyx.
Got
The
me
Endless Sphene.
fucked up.
When she was queen, you had her face an impossible task, then manipulated her into using the key when she was at her most desperate. If you can do all that, then why not whisk it away when her plans went to ruin? Why let it fall into our hands?
You pour salt in the wound. That disaster was a miscalculation on my part. As her end drew near, Sphene and her restructured memories had become one with the terminal's control systems. In that singular place, in that singular moment, she wielded an authority greater than mine. Thus she was able to shield you, the neighboring sovereign to whom she entrusted her nation's future, and the hero to whom she entrusted that priceless key. I am unsure to what degree she perceived my presence, but she knew that someone was watching. Does that satisfy your
How would you rank the white woman of each expansion?
It does. And I'm satisfied that you will take nothing more from this nation.
Because there's a white woman in every expansion.
Not one more life, not one more future, not one single smile from another child's face. You hear me?
Dawntrail is Sphene. Endwalker is Medion. Shadowbringer's Reen. Stormblood is Lys, obviously. And then Heaven's Word is Thordan. So how would you rank
Sorry for losing my temper,
the white girl of each
but there's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx. Whatever grand future he envisions, someone will be made to pay the price.
There's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx.
And I won't
This
let that
part of
happen.
the axe goes in one side and out the other side. He's wrong if he thinks he's taken our measure.
If I may, I realize it is not my place to say this.
But
Even
y'all
so,
are cool as fuck.
I must thank you both. On behalf of my other self, allow me
Surprise,
to say
puppy.
how grateful
knock
I
the
am
face.
to have
Knock
you
the
as our
face.
champions.
Can you stop with the... Can you just hang out? And not lick me? Maybe.
Phew. Well, that was an adventure.
It may not have been by the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx and what we need to do next. Indeed. While I remain curious about Preservation's research into the key, that is an investigation for another day. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. Damn that bastard Calyx. He waited until I was this close before snatching away my moment of triumph. And that infuriating, condescending way he spoke to us. We'll see whose time is up, you smug little weasel. Anyway, I know things didn't go to plan, but we learned a great deal about preservation. That knowledge could come in handy in the days to come. Though I may not be able to contribute much to a direct confrontation, I mean to see this through with you all, providing whatever support I can. Anoriand, we've briefed Erenville on everything that has happened and sent word to the others. We've now but to consider what our next actions will be. Calyx has offered you the opportunity to confront him directly. And though it feels much like striding face first into an ambush, we have little choice. If we are to destroy the memories he supposedly has stored in the upper reaches of the Meso-Terminal, then that is where we must go. While I'm still upset at being deprived of my moment, I nevertheless did my due diligence. I can confirm that the relay we found was indeed transmitting surveillance data to a device somewhere in living memory. When you go to fight Calyx, pray let me fight alongside you. Let me fight for the memory of Otis and Selenia, and for the other Sphene I may have become. But most importantly, for my beloved kingdom and a joyful tomorrow. It has always been your fight as much as ours, if not more. Thank you for understanding what this means to me. I'll be coming with you as well. You know my reasons. It hardly needs saying, but your fellow Scions also have every intention of accompanying you into battle. So adamant were Alisaie and the others on this point that they've already left for living memory. I'm more than ready to do the same. I'll keep patrolling the streets for signs of trouble, especially for anyone wearing neo-regulators. Should you need anything from me, I'll be on standby here in the back room.
I really want to go with you too, but I know I can't. I know that sometimes you have to be patient and trust in your friends.
Oh, Anoriand. Cry and I think that we should talk to Gosan before we leave for living memory. Under Calix's direction, preservation has helped shape Alexandria's society for centuries. Taking him down will have serious consequences, and we need to warn the officials in charge about what we intend. Justifications aside, we shall be acting against the wishes of all who desire to become endless. Exactly. We don't know if Gosan will approve or oppose our chosen course, but either way, leaving without a word is the wrong thing to do. Come, we should be on our way. Resolution first, yes?
Be safe, everyone. We'll see you when it's over.
Where are we going? Gotcha. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Well, dude. I love her fucking kicks.
I see. A difficult situation. In the absence of an official sovereign, I agree that it is not preservation's place to dictate the future of our nation. However, I also cannot simply take a side and declare my support for your efforts to defeat Calix.
Is that because of the new regulator you wear?
I've yet to register it. I find myself caught between the fear of dying and the desire to carry out the duties of governance. My greatest concern is how we shall stem this ever-increasing terror of mortality when becoming endless is no longer an option. And that's to say nothing of the recent slaughter committed by our own soldiers. The fact that such violence was perpetrated for the very purpose of creating endless will, paradoxically, make it more difficult to endorse your chosen course. It may not seem logical, but for those who lost friends and family in the attacks, halting the creation process altogether would render the deaths of their loved ones utterly meaningless. Is it not cruel to rob them of what little solace they could claim, when we have only just learned what it is to mourn? Tell me, how are we meant to overcome such tragedies?
We stop begging others to teach us for a start.
Solid. Hell yeah.
For the longest time, we've been protected by Queen Sphene and the systems put in place by our forebears. The hardships and responsibilities of life were distant things, and we felt entitled to our comforts, even as we barely noticed those who risked everything to keep us sheltered. But no more. From now on, we need to learn on our own. How to live with the promise of death. How to endure the pain of loss. We may never learn to love such things, but we may learn to survive them.
Which is pretty much all you can ask for, TBH.
The people beyond the barrier, even the Alexandrians of old, they've all had to live with these fears. There's no reason we can't do it too.
What are you all doing here?
Malachite called us in, and the Oblivion members briefed us on the current crisis. You don't stand idly by while your house burns down. We came together and thought about how we could help.
Long story short, we've decided to join the fight alongside Oblivion.
Hell yeah. We got an army.
I say fight, but we're well aware of how little use we'd be in actual combat.
Okay, we have a shitty army.
A battle of ideas, on the other hand. Now that we might be qualified to do something about. We'll talk to our neighbors and do our best to quell their fears. Convince them to make the most of this life and enjoy all it has to offer. Perhaps that will help to ease your burden.
It certainly will. Even if a few are assuaged by your words, it will make things easier.
Those who have already registered will be difficult to sway, but there are still many who waver.
And for them, we'll threaten their fucking lives. I mean, what?
Gossen, if you truly care for the people of Alexandria, then now's the time to start thinking of ways to prevent more deaths.
Were I to become endless at the expense of my countrymen's lives, I would regret it for the rest of my existence.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Forgive my weakness. When the people have lost their way, it falls to the government to support and guide them. Alexandria can rise above this sorrow and find its way forward once more. Is that not so, Your Majesty?
Indeed it is. No, that wasn't... what I meant to say was...
Girl, just accept it!
Amity, you used her name.
They all knew, dumbass.
The perfect resemblance to our beloved Queen Sveen has not escaped our notice. Yet we also understand that you are not her. Having to live in secret, unable to share who you really are, that must have been hard on you. When you come back, please tell us all about yourself. I imagine yours is a rather outlandish story, but we're eager to hear it all the same. You're one of us, an Alexandrian, and we don't abandon our own.
Hell yeah. That's what we want to see. The big reveal. I mean, we knew who she was, but like...
I promise to return.
The big reveal of acceptance. I don't know, whatever.
And when I do, I look forward to speaking with you all.
Hold on 1 second.
Everyone was so warm and welcoming. Alexandrians are, as ever, a stalwart people. How glad I am to be home. Thank you, Gosan. That decision must have been difficult to make.
If only I could claim the courage to do so came from within. The final push came from Alexandria's citizens, and their bravery in taking the first step towards change.
Speaking of which, can I ask you to lock that Neo-regulator away where no one can get to it? That should prevent the registrations from reaching the target number.
I should be glad to do so, but I fear it would be to no avail. According to our most recent surveys, the number of Neo-regulators in circulation exceeds the stated 5,000. I surmise the surplus units are to account for those like myself who have had a change of heart or are otherwise hesitant to register.
That does sound like something Calyx would do. Well, we'll have to face him either way, so no point in delaying the inevitable. On to living memory!
Things seem much the same.
Hell yeah! Head to the GPU.
So listen, you have nothing more to fear than any other normal day. Deep breaths. We'll get through this.
I was about to say to Shannon, well, Fiend gotta have that shit on because she put a 5090 Ti in the middle of her city. Exactly. You gotta be bold with a choice like that.
You'd be telling them much the same if you were here. I suppose it falls to me now.
He means his mommy.
Go to hell, Yoshi! I was fine. We were all fucking fine. Everyone was fine. What the fuck, man? Speaking of mommies, my mom went on a cruise today. Whoo! That's a choice. Obviously, it was paid for in advance, so, like, I get it, but also... She about to contract that hentai virus.
Ah, 'tis good to see our comrades hale and girded for battle. As for us, we've been ahead to expect the lay of the land. There were no changes of note, aside from with the Meso Terminal itself. Why? What happened to the Meso Terminal? The wall has receded to provide a convenient entrance into the structure's interior. There was no such ingress when last we were here, so we must assume that Calyx has since manipulated the terminal's electrope, all to facilitate his most gracious invitation to the upper levels. An invitation I am eager to accept. For the sake of all who love Alexandria, I will not yield nor leave them to despair. Okay, so this is about to be kind of weird, but... I believe everyone determined to be here is present and accounted for. Shall we make our way to the terminal? You wouldn't wish to keep our insistent hosts waiting.
Atraxa Raven, I know what you are. I know what you are. Hey, if you look at this just in sections, it's the cool S. You can be mad at me for pointing that out, but I'm not wrong.
Well, here we are again, facing another battle to decide Alexandria's fate. 4 centuries I slept here. Upon awakening, I found the world as I knew it had changed. I was so frightened at first. I couldn't recognize a single thing and thought everything I loved had gone to dust. Yet beneath the unfamiliar surface, much remained the same. For that, I give thanks to Otis and Selenia and their royal knights, who lay their lives on the line to defend our way of life. I thank every Alexandrian who I believed in our future and passed on our legacy. I thank my other self, who so loved this kingdom of ours. And I thank you all for kindling my hope in this open my heart, this courage to take up arms and fight once more. So let us make our stand together and fight for what we hold dear. The kind and gentle Queen's fiend was too weak to serve her people, and so she will serve them no more. Freed from conscience, I shall become a ruler that can protect Alexandria, a devourer of worlds. Together we stand. Together we fight. You have my gratitude, and surely Otis and Zelenia will join us in spirit. Let's head inside and finish this. In the upper reaches of this terminal awaits the device which holds Calyx's memories. It falls to us to make the climb and destroy it once and for all. Aye. We must bring matters to a definitive end. We will not suffer him to cause Alexandria further harm nor claim the key. The Queen entrusted it to Anoriand for good reason. And besides, 'twould be a tragedy indeed to relinquish a relic with so much research potential. Apparently Calyx thinks he's taken your measure. I urge you to correct that misguided assumption. I wholeheartedly concur, yet would still counsel caution. That he would be so bold as to extend us into an invitation bespeaks tremendous confidence in his preparations. Come, friends, we set forth into the midst of dreaming endless. The Meso terminal now accessible. Okay, y'all. Obviously, I was going to do this. Really, my goal was to do all of 9.3 before the end of stream. Here's the problem. 1, we ran late, especially because I started so long on the Mortal Kombat dungeon and everything else. And 2, I have to deal with something involving my kids. Everyth's okay, but I gotta take care of it before they go to bed, and I got like 12 minutes, which obviously stops here. And I don't want to take a 10-12 minute break, deal with that, then come back, then do the dungeon 3.5 hours into the stream, and then the whole thing. So, here's the plan. Hopeful chance I can be back on tomorrow afternoon. We will basically boot in right from the dungeon and go from there, continue onward. If not, worst case, I will be back Saturday and Sunday we will continue with things. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. Till next time.